Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Ooh,
Welcome back.
don't like that sound. I don't like that echo. That was a quick path to a sensory nightmare. Anyway, let me restart. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Late Night Show with your host, Dr. Kojo. We're going to get started here. I'm going to make sure that I can just do like this. There's too much sun coming in. We don't complain about sun at all, but I want you all to see me. There we go. Take off my glasses. Even better. Even better. I want you all to see me. We're using the natural sunlight. No light from the room. We're going to go natural. We're going to go natural today. All right. We are talking about top 7 ADHD dangerous addictions. I don't know if I should have worded that differently. Top 7. We'll leave the title as it is, but on second thought, we could have gone with 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. I think I like that better. 7 dangerous. Hey, I may want to change that. Whatever. It's all semantics. It's all semantics. We're gonna be talking about top. What a way to word it. We're gonna be talking about 7 potentially dangerous ADHD addictions. That's what we're talking about tonight. So go ahead and use the comment section to let me know where you are checking in from, and then we will get this show on the road. To remind you all about where we are streaming to, we're streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. Once again, that's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and TikTok. Look at me getting confused. We have love from Ohio in the house. Okay. And Shauna on TikTok says, I need sleep tonight. I have to be a big girl and scroll past you tonight. Shauna, nothing wrong with scrolling past me. You got to be a big girl sometimes. Sometimes you can't stay online and watch Dr. Kojo. You got to make a big girl decision. So I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. Let me see who else is here on TikTok. Someone says, aren't you married? I have a couple of wives. Yeah, I do. Jonathan in the house. Okay. Joseph, Tennessee. Ghost in the Schema. Good to see you. Thank you for coming out. And speaking of Tennessee, we have Potomac, Maryland in the house. Speaking of Tennessee, I want to extend my gratitude to the entire city of Nashville, Tennessee. Thank you so much for coming out to my homecoming comedy shows. We had 2 shows actually. It was so good to be back in Nashville. It was so good to see family and friends. And it was so good to see my online family show up and show out at the Zany's Comedy Club. It's always been a dream of mine to play Zany's, and we had a fantastic time. We had a blast. So once again, everybody who came to the show in Nashville, thank you so much. I had a wonderful time. And even at the airport, when I was flying back, I was seeing people at the airport who were asking me about the show. People were saying things like, oh, I couldn't make it to the show, but next time you come to Nashville, I'm going to come out. How was the show? Was it good? Was it great? So just the Southern hospitality, it made me feel good to be once again back in Tennessee. So to the city of Nashville, to the state of Tennessee, to everybody who came from other places. Some people came from Kentucky. Some folks came from Carolina and then Texas to Nashville for the show. So once again, thank you so much for coming out. I appreciated it. I really appreciated it. So Nashville, that was probably the most fun that I've ever had touring with comedy. And comedy is fun in general, but Nashville was the most fun that I had ever had. So thank you so much, Nashville, Tennessee. I appreciate you. And we took 24 hours to celebrate Nashville and 2 successful shows, and it's time to set our sights on New York City. It's time to set our sights on New York City. New York City. Kim in Australia. Kim, how are you? And yeah, the photos from the show looked really good. I think I was funny on Sunday, but also the crowd was so good. The crowd in Nashville was so good. So it was just an overall great show. We have Leilani, our moderator, checking in from New York City. We appreciate her. I'm looking on TikTok. We have some love from Romania. Okay. I know we have an international audience, so shout out to that. Love from Romania. We have Emil from North Carolina who has autism and just started doing singing videos today. Congratulations. Congratulations on doing that. Congrats. Austin says, I love your work, brother. Austin, I appreciate you. We have Joseph from Portland, Oregon. Carolyn from Florida. Okay. People saying couple. I'm not sure what they mean by couple. Lucy saying New York City will be better. Lucy, I do believe New York City will be better. The momentum is really good right now. If New York City is better than Nashville, then I can't imagine what that's going to be like, because Nashville was a pretty good time. So I'm excited for New York City, a New York Thursday nighter. So y'all come on out. Tickets are in the link in the bio. New York City, June 11th, then Chicago, Illinois, June 18th. After that, we have a month break, and then we will be back on the East Coast in Boston, Massachusetts, July 24th, then Springfield, Massachusetts, till July 25th. Look at me having to memorize all these dates and names. ETM from Nashville, Greens from China, Pennsylvania in the house, St. Louis, Missouri, Alberta, Canada, Love from the UK on TikTok, Foshi from Australia. Okay, people checking in from all over the place. All over the place. Where am I from? A couple of different places. Nashville, Tennessee is my U.S. home, but I was born in Ghana, West Africa. Born in Ghana, West Africa. Then we moved to Norway when I was about a year and a half. Then in 1999, we moved to Nashville, Tennessee. So that's where all this Tennessee, Nashville love comes from. And we moved around a little bit after that, and then we settled in Cobb County, Georgia. I went to college in Alabama. I came back to Georgia for grad school at Augusta University. That's where I earned my DNP degree, Doctorate of Nursing Practice. Then I went to Virginia to do forensic psychiatry for 16 months. While I was in Virginia, I started posting videos on TikTok, and then I went viral. I kept posting more videos. I kept going viral and viral and viral and viral. And then this big brand started, moved to California, and we just took it to the next level. So for people who wanted some background information on me, the new folks, that's some background info on your boy. People asking if that's my girl in the videos. They're skits. These are skits, guys. So the skits are made to educate y'all. You know, I am an actor. I'm an actor as well. People are like, how many jobs do you have? I got a couple of jobs. I'm a doctorally prepared mental health nurse practitioner. I'm a content creator. I'm a writer. I'm an actor. I'm a comedian. I got to keep 7 different jobs on me. I don't get tired. I got to keep 7 different jobs on me. I was in Southern Virginia. Should a neurodivergent person date other neurodivergent individuals? You don't have to, but if you have somebody else who's neurodivergent, I think they would understand you better. So, for example, the main actress in the videos, Emily, she has autism and ADHD. And I have ADHD for sure, autism potentially. But because we are both neurodivergent, we have a lot of chemistry, which is why people keep asking us if we are a couple. They keep asking us if we're married, so on and so forth. So I would imagine that we could date. You know, we understand each other because of the neurodivergence. And also we're pretty good actors. So, you know, maybe in a certain world, we could date. And let me address this real quick. Somebody said, did the Seattle show get canceled? So no, the Seattle show did not get canceled. It was never confirmed. We were this close to confirming the date for Seattle, which was July 16th. And something fell through with my team. We weren't able to book that show officially. So before I get into the top 7 ADHD dangerous addictions, I do want to apologize because I don't like when things are announced and, you know, it doesn't go according to plan. So that was on me for jumping the gun and getting excited to do the show in Seattle. And we're still working to book a show in Seattle/Tacoma. and some people have mentioned Spokane and other places like that. We're still looking to book shows in Washington State. So thank you for your patience. And I'm sorry that we weren't able to book that show in Tacoma specifically. Hurts my heart, but we will do the best that we can. All right. We will do the best that we can. There's not a better place than Tennessee was awesome. Guys, Tennessee was awesome. And I am early or on time, which feels early. I know it's weird, but I was early. I was early. It was weird, but I was early tonight. From Cobb County, live in Dallas, Georgia now. Recently diagnosed ADHD, combined type autism. Okay, if you have ADHD and autism, then you are in the right place. You are in the right place. ADHD and autism. This is where you belong. This is where you belong. Ghost and the Schemo was at the show. Very nice to meet you, Ghost. And like this is what he's saying. He came to the show in Nashville. He said it was a great time. And I think that it was an amazing time. When you put all of these neuro spicy brains in one room, that's the type of humor that I want. The type of humor, the type of honesty. Honesty is funny. So I mean, I had a great time in Nashville. Lovita was also there. Shout out to Lovita. Thank you for coming to this show as well. It was, guys, I'm still replying back to people's text messages and trying to get up with family. I did my best to see as many family members as I could because I was there with my team. So I'm having to be Dr. Kojo and also Kojo, but we had a great time in Nashville. We had an enjoyable time. Man, Nashville is so good. Ooh. Y'all heard that crack? Ooh. I gotta go find me a masseuse or one of those lady massage people who can just crack my back. Oh, the twerk. I was trying to show how to go viral. You gotta twerk. You gotta twerk to go viral. Yes, I am from Nashville. My favorite, your Titans fandom history. Oh, I've been a fan since '99. I've been a fan since 1999. So I'm a fan through and through. That's as Tennessee Titan as you can get. As Tennessee Titan as you can get. Tighten up. Tighten up. And while I pull up my list here of the top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions, ADHD and dangerous should be swapped. I don't know why I wrote like that. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. But while I pull up my list of the top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions, I want to remind y'all that we have tickets in the bio for the next 2 shows. For all the remaining shows for the year, but we have New York City and then we have Chicago. New York City, June 11th, Chicago, June 18th. And we are adding more shows as we go throughout the year. And thank you so much. I wore Invisalign 3 times, so I smile as often as I can. I smile as often as I can. I appreciate that. All right, so let me pull up my list here. Let me see what I have. I just had my list. Okay, so normally we go like 1 through 6 or 1 through 7, but I actually did put these in order. So we're gonna go from 7 backwards to 1. All right, we're gonna go 7 backwards to 1, and Victoria is jumping the gun here. Them drinks be dangerous. I avoid many vices. Although I do admit I smoke lightly, I'm a sinner. Hey, Victoria, relax. Don't call yourself a sinner now, okay? Now we all do. I think the Bible says we all have sinned and fallen short. So all of us got a couple of things that we're working on. So don't be too hard on yourself, Victoria, because you had a couple of drinks or you puffed a little bit of that gas. Don't be too hard on yourself, okay? Let's talk about these dangerous addictions with ADHD and break down how somebody would find themselves in this situation. All right. Number seven. Top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. This one, I think this one can surprise y'all. I hope it does. Number 7, work. Kind of like the song, work. Top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. Work. We have this ability to work and work and work. And sometimes we'll push ourselves past the point of exhaustion. And I am one of those people who does this. I am able to work even when I'm burnt out. Even when I'm tired, I can work. I have found this to be, in my brain, a healthy addiction. And it's not a healthy addiction. Of course, more money is good and more purpose is good and more businesses that you feel connected to, all that stuff is good. But sometimes we use work as a way to escape from the things that are actually going on in our lives. And I'm looking on TikTok and somebody says, my sister's a workaholic. That comes from Christina. Stephanie says, I'm a workaholic. So somebody can relate to it. Then Stephanie says, I literally started a business because of this. If you like to work 25/8, starting your own business would satisfy that itch. Because when you work for yourself, you are never off the clock, which is one of the frustrating things about working for yourself. When you work for somebody, the workday ends at 5. Or let's say you work second shift, ends at 11. You work the graveyard shift, that ends at 7. You work 12 hours, 7 to 7. All right, cool. But when you work for yourself, the day never ends. And you have to find a way to artificially end your day. This has been a real struggle for me. It's been very hard for me to figure out how to end my workday, because sometimes I have some of the best ideas come to me at 11:34 p.m. And I know this has frustrated every woman I've dated. Because if you live with, or at least for me, if I'm living with a woman and I'm up late around 9:30, 10, she's like, hey, I'm going to bed now. I'm going to bed. And I'm like, good night. She's like, come to bed with me. I'm like, I have work to do. I got work. Like, I have work to do. I can't just go to bed right now. She's like, well, I'm gonna take off my pants. I'm like, all right, okay, fine. If you take off your pants, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna come hop in the bed if you take off your pants. But generally speaking, I gotta go back to my work, because when I have an idea, I have to bring it to life, and I can't not bring it to life. So it's hard to end the day when you work for yourself. But work is one of the biggest addictions that we have. Work is among the most pro-social. Yes. Love of the show here. The reason why this is a tricky one is because nobody would realize that it's an addiction. Because if you're working a lot, people are saying, oh, this person's going on a money run. What's wrong with working in this economy, working a couple of extra jobs, having extra money on the side? There's nothing wrong with working more and more and more. Those things, two things can be true at once, all right? You can work because you want extra money and you want to take care of yourself. So you want to leave? All right, I'll let you leave now. You can leave, baby. She's like, I want to go play with my toys. But yeah, what was I saying? People don't look down upon the person who works a lot. And in fact, if you work a lot in America, you get rewarded for this. They call you a champion. They call you a workaholic. So we have to figure out how much work is too much work. I think that's the question for all of us. How much work is too much work? Sarah says, my husband does this and loves it. Even when he has a job, he was always working on side projects as a software engineer. It's just who he is. And Sarah, I think that one of the reasons why your marriage works is because you understand him and you don't try to change him. I love that last sentence. Another love of the show. Another love of the show. Another love of the show. You know who your husband is, so you don't try and change him. But like I was saying earlier, we have to figure out how much work is too much work. Because at some point, it does become too much work if you're burning the candle on both ends. So it begs the question, how much work is too much work? We got to figure that out. Let me see. Someone TikTok says, I have to delete the work phone app. Sometimes I'll be on it, even responding to patients at 10 p.m. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it helps to not keep your work phone on you. And look, if you don't work for, even if you work for yourself, you need to find some way to end the workday. But especially when you don't work for yourself, you have to find some way to have this clear line of demarcation between work and the rest of your life. You got to do it. You got to do it. But I mean, you don't have to, but it would behoove you to do so. Let's just say that. And if I have to break out a word like behoove, means that I'm serious. Behoove. Behoove. Look at that vocabulary. We're behooving today. Allison says, I'm now 50. I've worked my body to the point of breaking down. I had 3 jobs at one time. And unfortunately, hard work doesn't always lead to what we want. If hard work yielded the best results, then I guess ants would be the most dominant animals out there, dominant creatures. But hard work doesn't lead to everything that we want. And sometimes it leads to burnout. And if you are familiar with my content, you know how to define burnout. I've mentioned it multiple times. Burnout is working very hard on the wrong things. You do that for long enough periods of time, you can hit neurodivergent burnout or autistic burnout, which can be incredibly dangerous. And that tends to come with a lot of skill regression, which is embarrassing, needing help as a fully grown adult. So we have to, like I said, we have to know when there's too much. We have to know when there's too much. And I agree, the reward for hard work is more work, which generally is a good thing if you like your work, but you have to figure out how to delineate. Okay, am I work now? Work mode, home mode, work mode, home mode. And this is why I said work from home is a trap when you have ADHD, because the good news is that you work from home, but the bad news is that you work from home. So you have to be very regimented when you work from home, when you have ADHD. Yes, stress in the body. Stress is the number one killer, guys. It's stress. It's stress. Now, not stressing out about certain things can also be bad because you can be blindsided by stuff, right? But stress in general is aging all of us. Look at me. Daddy got some gray hairs right here. And I'm 33. We're getting older. It's stress. And you can have good stress because I like the reasons why I'm tired every night. I'm happy to be tired every day because I like what I do. But still, it can age you. It can age you. It can age you. And somebody asked, what is ADHD/autistic burnout? Great question. Neurodivergent burnout is what happens when you go too long without getting the proper support that you need. All right. And the proper support could be in the form of somebody helping you with communication. It could be in the form of financial assistance. It could be in the form of somebody helping you with work accommodations. It could be in the form of having family support during a hard time. But you go too long without the support and you could burn out. And neurodivergent burnout can take you years to recover from. So be careful. Oh, yeah. That's what daddy likes. There's always a couple of women at different junctures in my life calling me daddy. There's a couple of them. That's a couple of them. In my opinion, working hard should be revving the engine when needed, not redlining it when it's time to cruise. If we can get to this, we'd be doing good. If we could do this, this is how you would want to do it. It's kind of like those the hybrid cars. Have y'all seen those cars that are hybrid? When you stop, let's say you get to a red light and you stop the car, then all of a sudden, the engine is quiet. And then when you have to start the car again, like you hit the gas, then it revs up. So think of your energy as a hybrid vehicle. You need to know how to turn it up when you need to turn it up, but we shouldn't always be on. We shouldn't always be on. You feel me? I do not have an Atlanta office. Somebody asked about that. Unfortunately. All right. Now my 6th one right here. Can I spell that? I can't spell today. Mickey Ficky. All right. Top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. Number 6, drama and conflict. Drama and conflict. All right. And this tends to come a lot of times from boredom. All right. Being bored in general It's not good when you have ADHD because sometimes you look for things to things to fight about. You look for arguments. And sometimes when we're understimulated, we will argue with people and we will look for drama, things to distract ourselves, things to make us feel something, because feeling something is better than feeling nothing. Being bored is not a good thing for us. We shouldn't be working all the time, or we shouldn't be on all the time, but we shouldn't have a lot of free time. A lot of free time is death to the person who has ADHD. Because what do you mean I have all this free time? I can get into whatever, whenever, however I want to do it. Yeah, that's how you get into trouble. That's how you get into trouble. Too much free time and being understimulated for long periods of time, you will find yourself in drama and or in some type of conflict. And now look, conflict makes for a good story. Every good story, you need a little bit of conflict. And all the skits that I do, we need to solve a problem. So we need a little bit of conflict to allow ourselves to come to a resolution. However, when you are looking for drama, when you're looking for conflict, it gets pretty addicting, because that's a really quick way. It's a really quick way to stimulate yourself. It's a really quick way to stimulate yourself. Uniquely, Cheryl says, I love your videos. I'm ADHD. Cheryl, I appreciate you. If you have autism and ADHD, you are in the right spot. You're in the right spot. Synchronicity Help says, oops, I do that. And look, if you are somebody who starts arguments when you're bored and understimulated, it's important to recognize that this is what you do, but it's not who you are. Okay? There's a difference. It's what you do. It's not who you are. Because sometimes you'll associate somebody with, a bad time, or this is somebody who's always looking to argue. This is somebody who's always looking to just, start some mess. I wouldn't say that's, no, look, it could be you. I don't know you. It could be you. But generally speaking, if we're talking about things from an ADHD perspective, just being bored and understimulated can make us seek out dopamine in ways like this. And sometimes you feel like when you're talking about drama, or you're, recalling somebody's situation, or whenever you're arguing about something and the argument comes to a close, or you feel like it's come to a resolution, you have a sense of accomplishment. You feel like you figured something out, when in all likelihood, you probably haven't figured anything out. You just started an argument. You gave yourself a problem, and then you found a solution. But we could have avoided all of this by avoiding the drama. We didn't have to get involved with this person's situation or that person's business. But you got into it, then you solved the problem at hand. Now it gives you a false sense of accomplishment, because yes, you did accomplish something, but you're really just right back at ground zero. So we can conserve our energy in figuring out different things to do, redirect our energy to more productive things, or even just to rest. The 45 minutes a day that you spend arguing, meditate, that will change your life. I promise you. You take the 45 minutes daily that you argue, and you just meditate and sit there and do nothing and look at the wall and gather your thoughts. Yeah, you would thank yourself for that. You would thank yourself for that. And Synchronicity says, I started with my husband. We're going to send this live stream to your husband and tell him that you start arguments just because you're understimulated. Someone says, are those skits fake? What do you mean, are they fake? The skits are made with a lot of love. What do you mean by a fake skit? What does that question mean? What does that question mean? The skits are made with a lot of love, an overabundance of love. I go to great lengths to get those skits, so I wouldn't call them fake. Starting political conversations just for shitting. Yeah, this is an ADHD thing. This is an ADHD thing. Rachel, we will repost this live stream, and we're actually going from 7 down to 1. So we're going backwards today. We're going from 7 down to 1. That's why I resisted the ADHD. I love busying myself for craft gardening exercise. Okay. The trait of being interested for novelty's sake can get you drawn to it. Yeah, I agree. Look, when you have ADHD, you'll find yourself in some weird spaces. You'll be like, how in the world did I get? How did I get here? Like, how did only somebody like me can get into a space like this? pretty interesting. Felix, I will see you in New York City for the show in New York, June 11th. Only 9 days away, New York City. Only 9 days away. I'm excited. Only 9 days away. I cannot wait. And then Movements for Change says, OMG, I'm definitely neurodiverse. So you've been arguing a lot, huh? A couple of people in here have been arguing a lot just for the love of the game. Just for the love of, I'm arguing just because I want to argue. Okay. All right now. You'll be there in New York City as well? New York City is a party. It's going up June 11th. It's going to be great. June 11th is going to be great. June 11th is going to be great. Just to feel like I have a solution. Yeah. Some people are like that. My younger brother loves to do that. He loves to argue, and he'll come up with these hot takes, these hot sports takes. And he'll say, the Spurs are going to beat the Thunder. And he was right about that. I don't know how much of a hot take that was. They have Wembanyama. Like, obviously anybody who has him, they have a chance. But he said, oh, the Spurs are going to beat the Thunder. And he says when the Spurs are down 3-2. And then when they won the last 2 games, he was like, I told y'all. I'm like, bro, nobody was arguing with you that the Spurs weren't going to win. They have a 7'4" freak. Of course, they had a pretty good chance to win. What time is my set in New York City? Off the top of my head, I do not know. Let me. 7:30 p.m. New York City, June 11th. Yep. Oh yeah, comedy centered around neurodiversity, how I see the world. I'll talk about my different wives. I talk about my life. I talk about a little bit about childhood trauma. If you can pick up what I'm putting down on social media, I think you would understand what I'm talking about on about comedy. Different wives. Yeah. Why are y'all shocked? Don't y'all have different wives too? I thought that was a normal thing. I thought everybody had like 2 or 3 wives. Oh, y'all just have one wife? Oh, okay. Sorry, didn't know that. At the same time? Yeah, at the same time. And they play nice with each other. They're all friends with each other right now. They're friends with each other. The different wives. Talks about boobs. If the cherry emoji means boobs, then yes, I like boobs. I really like boobs. Speaking of the show Nashville, my cousin said that when I made a joke about boobs, about liking boobs, my uncle laughed. That was one of the highlights of my night, because my uncle's he's a very proper guy. Like, he's by the book. Doesn't really BS or laugh a lot. So to find out that my uncle was like me and that he likes boobs as well was very heartwarming. It made me feel really good. All right. The fifth dangerous addiction, guys, for ADHD, doom scrolling. This one could have very well been number 1. This could be number 1 right here. It's not, but it could be number 1. These phones are the problem, guys. These phones are the problem. The phone was a problem. People were right. The phone was a problem. Do I need one more wife? I'll talk to the 4 that we have in the house, and if the majority vote for an extra wife, then we can get an extra wife. But the phones are the problem, guys. If y'all look at how much screen time you average on a day-to-day basis, you will be shocked. The reason why a lot of y'all are not shocked is because you don't keep up with how much time you spend on the phone. But if you looked at how much time you spent on your phone, you would be shocked. There's a lot of time that goes by just scrolling on the phone. And look, I feel hypocritical saying all this because I make content on social media, and I make revenue off of people's watching my videos and sharing it in views. So I want people to watch my videos. I want to have millions of views. It's like 100. We're close to 200 million monthly views on social media now, which is crazy. we've averaged 150 million monthly views across platforms for almost a year now. So we're getting close to 200 million monthly views on social media, which is crazy. So thank you for the support, and thank you for watching, and thank you for sharing. And I definitely will continue to give y'all the absolute best of me when it comes to content. But we have to figure out how can we. You can't consume everything. You gotta pick a couple of favorite creators. Pick your Dr. Kojo, pick you somebody else that you like, pick you a couple of things, and find your side of the internet, and then get off the internet. Even for myself, I got to get off the internet. It's too much. I mean, I'll scroll to get inspired creatively, but after a while, I got to get off the internet. I have to get off the internet. Oh, Coco, of course I remember. You have a good memory. I got a good memory. Have a good memory. We have to get off the internet. Don't trust people who don't like boobs. I agree. If you don't like boobs, I can't trust you. Because even girls admire boobs. Like, thank God for boobs. You feel me? Thank God for boobs. And Ghost, people, if you scroll online, and especially if you take in the rage bait, keep in mind that content works off of an algorithm. All right. So content works off of an algorithm. So any prolific content creator, myself included, is pretty good at something that we call hooks. So you figure out what the hook is to reel somebody in, pun intended, and then either educate them or entertain them, or hopefully both. All right. But when you know how algorithms work, you know that people will put out content intentionally to rage bait folks. And if you consume this content, it can make you upset. It can have your mood up and down, left and right, and all over the place. So we have to be careful with how much time we spend on the internet. And Julia says, I finally got my meds. Congratulations. Julia finally got her medications. She says she's part of the Addy family. Okay. Congratulations, Julia. Congratulations. Hopefully that helps out. I'm a big fan of the medications because I take them. Queen Zero says, I like your personality just as much as your informative videos. I appreciate that. And that's why I try to put out different types of content. We have some people who want the signs and symptoms. So like Dr. Kojo, just tell me the signs and symptoms of bipolar 2, and that's all I want. And then some people are like, oh, give me the skits. We love Emily. Give me the skits. Like, we want more Emily. I got y'all too. Some folks are like, oh, we want the podcast. I got y'all too. Some folks are like, oh, we want the autism on that too. I got y'all on that too. So content is a powerful thing, and it's what I do. But even as somebody who posts content consistently, I have to separate myself from the phone. And I've made a much more intentional effort to get off the phone. I don't think I'm doing as good as I could be doing, but my goodness, the doom scrolling is getting out of hand. So be mindful of that. I keep forgetting that I have a big autism following, so people may take me literally. And this right here, before I get to my fourth thing, in my head, like, I'm gonna give, like, we're gonna do, the different styles of content, because like I said, people want the different types of Kojo: informative Kojo, educational, comedic, entertain. They wanted the different styles, but one format that people keep referring to, people keep coming back to this format, is the ADHD, autism, and ADHD skits. I would probably say that that's the number one style of video that people like, because everybody is always like, I love it when you show ADHD, autism, the ADHD, and ADHD. So this right here, I will not stop this. And in fact, I'm making a couple of these videos this week. So yeah, see, I love those. Those videos gonna come. I got a lot in the chamber for y'all. I got a lot in the chamber for y'all. Yep. You're my favorite speaker. Aw, aw, I appreciate that. It's such a good end to your day. Thank you so much for your attention. I appreciate like this is why I do this for the appreciation. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. The 3 diagnosis kits. I will keep that in mind. But I think that that's people's favorite right now. I would say that that's the favorite. And it's funny because I think the videos with Emily get the most views. Oh yeah, I'd say so. But these RDHD skits, when it comes to long form, these ones get the most views. So the RDHD skits long form, I think that nothing is matching that when it comes to long form skits. Nothing is matching that. Ooh, number 4. Oh my goodness. And impulse spending. Top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. Number 4, shopping and impulse spending. Where do I even start with this? When you have ADHD, it becomes difficult to plan things. And if you don't plan things, guess what happens? If you don't plan things, guess what happens? You do things at the last second. If you do things at the last second, you're going to be in a hurry. When you're in a hurry, you tend to speed. When you speed, you get speeding tickets. Boom, you got to pay extra. When you're in a hurry to go to the airport, you get the Uber. That'll get you there the quickest. Boom, extra money. When you realize that you didn't plan appropriately for something, let's say you got to the airport and realized that you didn't have what you needed. You didn't eat today. Now we're going to buy this overpriced food. Oh, I don't have any headphones. We're going to buy these overpriced headphones at the airport. Everything costs so much more money when you do things at the last second. I know because I fly so much, but I get my flights at the last second, which is not a good thing to do. And look, I have a team. I could do better. We have done better. We've done better, and I'm proud of the progress that we've made. But the impulse spending and the shopping and the DoorDashes and the Instacarts and the Amazon, especially DoorDash. Especially, it's a couple of DoorDash fiends in here. Now, I just know it. There's a couple of people in here who are some DoorDash fiends. DoorDash, Instacart. DoorDash, post DoorDash clarity is tough because you be looking at your phone like, man, I really spent $37 on 3 tacos and a latte. Wow. $37. $37 on 3 tacos and 1 large latte. If you would have gone inside the coffee shop or whatever, it would have cost you $16. But you paid $37 because you had to get a DoorDash pass, and then you needed to come to you a little quicker. So you paid the extra $3. Before you know it, the taxes came up to be almost $40. If you do this twice a day, that's $80. $80 times 5 is $400. That's Monday through Friday. 400 times 4 is $1,600. You see how DoorDash could be more than somebody's rent? So when you have ADHD, you have to be very careful with these apps, the DoorDashes, the Instacarts, the Amazons. Be very, 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 very careful. Very careful. Somebody said they DoorDash some churros last night. Someone says, were you ever provided for Kaiser? No, I wasn't. That's somebody who looks like me. Maybe they're almost as handsome as me. So that's a compliment to them. If you're in the DoorDash feedback loop, go out and get some food. And speaking of going out to get your own food, I'm in the mode right now where I'm forcing myself to go out and get my food. And it's time consuming, yes, but I had to kick this DoorDash habit. It was just, I can't do it. When you realize how much you spend, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And you were pacing looking at facts. This is me. You look through the fridge multiple times and you're like, man, ain't nothing to eat in here. I need something sweet. I need something sweet. I need something sweet, man. Mine were Costco and TJ Maxx. I developed self-control. Okay. Costco can be addicting. I can give you that. TJ Maxx too, but you have to kind of find yourself at TJ Maxx. But they have online, I'm sure. The autism side of me watched 3 documentaries on credit card debt before I got my first card, and the ADHD side effects that less than a month. Good debt though, school textbooks. And look, if you're gonna spend a lot of money on something, let it be something that you can use over and over. Or if you just feel like you have to spend money on things, go to the dollar store with $20, which doesn't get you that much nowadays, but $20 would get you at least 10 things at the dollar store, tax included. So go out and ball out at the dollar store so that way you have. Sometimes we have this fixation. We have to just touch the things that we bought. We need tangible things to buy. I pick up my DoorDash. That's better if you can do that. If you can pick up your own food, it's a little bit better. It saves you money, and then you also get to talk to people. Like, think about it. If you DoorDash, the only human interaction you have, assuming you stay home, is the 3 seconds that the DoorDasher is like, all right, I'm taking a picture of the food right here. Now, if you go out and you get the food, think about all the amazing people that you can meet on the way. You might meet somebody of the opposite sex. You might meet somebody who looks good. They might have that eye contact with you. Like, you never know who you can meet. You can meet a friend. You can be talking to somebody in line about sports, and you meet a new buddy. So life starts once you leave the house. So we gotta get out the house, guys. We gotta get out of the house. And someone says retail therapy is real. It is, but it's very, very expensive. And how could I forget TikTok Shop? TikTok Shop gets me sometimes because it's right there at my fingertips. This is from stumbling through his word on TikTok. TikTok Shop, very, very, be careful. And look, I promote some products in the TikTok Shop. I haven't made a video in a while, but I promote some of the things that I use every day. And TikTok Shop makes it very convenient for you to get these items. So if you're gonna blow a bag on TikTok Shop, make sure you get something that you will actually use. Luckily for me, I use my L-methylfolate. I use my Calm drink, and then I think Emily has gotten a couple of dresses from the TikTok Shop, and she wears them. So like it was something that like we use. Okay, then we'll promote it. But if we don't use it, then it just feels disingenuous. Big mama or big daddy. Yeah, like if you go out and you pick up your food, I might meet me a big mama. Big mama might want to come over and hang out with me and stuff like that. So you never know. And Harlem Brian says, every time I leave the house, it costs me money. Yes, leaving the house does cost money, but you have to be very intentional with it. It's like, hey, I'm leaving the house to go pick up my food. I'm leaving the house to pick up my chicken teriyaki and white rice and Diet Coke, and I'm coming straight home. Because if you make a pit stop at Target, start looking around like, well, I do need some new pillows, and I do need some shower curtains, and I need a couple of new folders. I need a pen. I need a notebook. I need a new suitcase. For it's $700 at Target, and then you're like, all right, I'm gonna get it this one time, and then I'm done. Nah, because now you've trained yourself to impulse buy, and you'll just max out the credit card and then clear some space on the credit card, and you'll just keep doing it all over again. So be very careful with the impulse shopping. Be very, very, very careful. Someone says, ew, Diet Coke. Felix, what you mean? Diet Coke is fine. Diet Coke is fine. And TikTok Shop teaming up with Amazon and their Prime delivery was a setup for me. I did not know that TikTok Shop teamed up with Amazon and Prime. That's a dangerous combination. TikTok Shop teaming up with Amazon Prime is like Kevin Durant going to the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors didn't need him. They were already a championship team, but once they got him, they became that much more scary. So a world where TikTok Shop is combined with Amazon and Prime is very scary. Very scary. Very scary. And Jessica says, Jaguar, a Jaguar mama. PRRRR. I would assume that's okay, Jaguar mama. I gotta see what the Jaguar mama look like, though. I gotta see what the Jaguar mama look like. The classic shopping impulse hack. Sleep on it. It tends to be helpful if you can sleep on something that you really want that's over a certain amount of money. Just sleep on it. Sleep on it. Give yourself some time, because chances are the thing that you want to buy is not that urgent. And sometimes in your head you'll make it like a big thing, like I need this thing now, like I need it now, I have to purchase it now, I need it now, I need it now, and you probably don't need it that bad. Your bank account will probably appreciate it if you took your time before you bought things. Miss Kim, it was great to meet you once again. Great show in Nashville. Great, my goodness, great show in Nashville. And I was in a good mood all weekend. Man, I was in a good mood all weekend. Great show in Nashville. I don't know where I found the energy to go on Broadway 3 nights in a row. Probably because I was home, but I was, off of a high after the last comedy show. So we're like, we can go out again. Man, I had such a good time. Had such a good time. And some people are talking about Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper tastes like Coke with toothpaste. Sick. I don't like it. But some people like it. I could drink it in a pinch, though. If in a pinch, I can drink it. And Paradigm says, I love your content, man. I share it daily on Facebook. Paradigm on TikTok. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. All right. Top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. Number 3, gambling. Number 3, gambling. You got to be very, 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 very careful. Very careful. Food tastes like mashed potatoes. Yeah, that's about right. You gotta be very careful. Someone says, I am fixating on your crooked corner of the wall. Well, let's get some light. Let's get some light in this Mickey Ficky. There you go. Instead of focusing on the corner on the wall, y'all can just focus on my handsome face instead. There we go. And it's crooked, but you call it out now. Now I'm focusing on it. I'm focusing on it. Now, great question. Crash Mondo Jr. I would not put risky business adventures under the gambling category. It is close though, because a risky business adventure is a gamble in a sense. So I see the correlation. But when I say gambling, I'm specifically talking about blackjack in Vegas. And I'm talking about sports gambling too. I'm talking about day trading, anything that has a big emotional component to it where there's potentially a big payoff. Sports gambling is where I really think of nowadays when we talk about gambling. You have FanDuel, then you have Prize Picks, then you have Kalshi. I mean, fantasy football. A lot of people are emotionally disturbed because of the bets that they have put in. And I know, because I used to be one of those folks. I would say I was a big gambler, because in life in general, I'm a gambler. Kenny Rogers has a song, The Gambler. I am a gambler at heart. I am a gambler at heart. I take big chances and big risks, and sometimes it works out. Most times it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. But even me choosing to go all in on social media was a big gamble, because when I first started, you didn't see mental health professionals on social media. It was frowned upon as a bad thing. If you post on social media and you're a professional, it'll make you unemployable. It was just frowned upon. I took a big gamble and worked. So knowing me, I stay away from sports gambling, because I have one of those personalities that I would be easily addicted to gambling. You put in $100, you win $500. The high can last you for weeks. It's like, oh my gosh, I made $400. I made $400. I made $400. I can't believe it. But then what if you spend $600 and then you lose all that. You spend another $400 trying to chase the high of the first time that you won $400. It's very, 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 very risky nowadays. Man, my favorite sport is football. Adrian says, fast and that will take it away. I mean, I just stopped. I just said I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Come to New York City, June 11th. Rodney's Comedy Club, New York City. I cannot wait to see y'all. And yes, they make it way too easy to gamble. Way too easy to gamble. I've never gambled, but might try it out. I mean, like some people can gamble and they won't be addicted to it. But some of us, and look, only you know if you're one of those folks who should not be gambling. Like at this point in your life, you should know. Someone says Procter and Gamble. That's funny. That's funny. That's hilarious. But only you know if you're one of these folks who should be gambling or if you shouldn't be. Like you know deep down within your heart of hearts if you should be gambling or not. We all know. You know how impulsive you could be. You know what type of risks you could take that aren't the most well informed. So I am somebody that I should not be gambling. I should not be on Prize Picks or FanDuel or any of those things. And gambling fallacies, I've never really studied into the fallacies, but I do believe that you're playing a losing game. Like you're playing a losing game when it comes to gambling. That's what I truly believe. So you gotta be very, very, very careful. Very, very, very careful. Someone says, I have a bad addiction to cigarettes and weed. We're getting there. 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 And I guess y'all know what number one is after I put number two here, because I just alluded to substance use and cigarettes and weed. So number two. Hypersexuality and novelty seeking. All right. It's only a problem when you're losing. That's hilarious. All right. You're good gambling as long as you win. That's funny. That is funny. Top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. Number 2, hypersexuality / novelty seeking. Okay. Do y'all know that kid that gets a brand new toy on Christmas Day? And this toy is one that the kid's been asking for weeks, since September. Your child's been asking for this one toy, this one car, little race car. Christmas rolls around. You give the child the race car. The child plays with it for maybe 3-4 hours. The next day, kick to the curb. I need a new toy. A lot of us who have ADHD are like that. When something is new for us, that is the appeal. Okay. And when it comes to people and relationships, this is something that you have to be mindful of. Then they prefer to block. That's funny. When it's people in relationships, you need to be mindful of this, because sometimes you don't like the person, but you like the fact that you don't know the person. You like the fact that you don't know the person. Okay. And this could make you a serial dater. And you go from person to person and you're like, okay, I don't know why. Like, I can't seem to have a relationship at 6. Like, it just never works. Like, everything is good in the beginning. And then after that, like around the 3, 4, 5, 6 week mark, it's like everything just comes from everything just comes to a head. And all of a sudden, like, it looks like you've lost interest in this person. Maybe you didn't lose interest. Maybe you just figured out who they were. And not that they're a bad person, but the majority of your attraction to this person was the fact that you didn't know this person. But now that they become familiar to you, they're no longer a mystery. And because they're no longer a mystery, you are no longer attracted to them like that. Okay? You got to be very careful if you have these tendencies and these hobbies. Ricardo's saying, I went from hypersexuality to total shutdown, showdown relationships. You went from hypersexuality to like nothing at all. Nothing at all. Okay. Okay. And for tickets for the New York City show, the link is in the bio on YouTube, but also on Facebook and TikTok. And sometimes with ADHD, we only have two modes. It's like, all right, you're either, hypersexual, a lot of makey ficky, or it's like, okay, I want nothing to do with nobody. Don't touch me, leave me alone. I want to just ride out and do my own thing. I think it's important to know yourself. Your 20s and your early 30s are for knowing yourself, for learning yourself. So that way you put yourself in better positions to win, much better positions to win. You got to know yourself. And right here, shout out to this for the vulnerability. Shout out for this, the vulnerability, because people get on the internet and people can't. Let me close this window. Goddamn. People get on the internet and they cap, and they always talk about somebody who cheated on them, but they never talk about them cheating themselves. So somebody who is upfront and tells the truth, this is a safe space for that. This is what we do over here. I cheated a lot. That's why I stopped dating. I couldn't explain to them. I got bored, but not because of them for years. I've sat down with a lot of patients who have told me the same exact thing. A lot of patients who told me the same exact thing. And I remember a guy who he had gotten recently married, and he was exploring the ADHD diagnosis, and he had some regret about being married, and not that he didn't like his wife, but he wasn't sure if he was somebody who would do well in a marriage, because he liked falling in love. He liked that initial stage of a relationship. So after you stay with somebody for a while, there's no more novelty. I mean, you can find new parts of them, but the novelty is kind of worn off. So then it does become harder to be faithful sometimes. So one thing that is a plus in our neurodivergent community is that we have healthy dialogue around things like polyamory or open relationships, which it doesn't mean that you have to sign up for that if you don't want it. So I've seen people agree to open relationships when they didn't want to. If it's not your thing, don't do it. Don't do it. But it's just good to know that there's options out there. It's good to know that there's options out there. Love being their tiny dopamine and their face dopamine. Facts. Should have a show. I do have a show in Boston. It's July 24th. A lot of us learn about sex from corn or books or trying to navigate. Look, another thing that we have to talk about in this society is that people aren't learning about sex in healthy ways. You're learning about it from the internet, and the internet's not real life. So that does make it hard, because I would say that a lot of us don't have the social skills to back it up. Like you can go online and find things to stimulate you, but when you go talk to the opposite sex in real life, it can be pretty daunting if you've never worked on your social skills. Like just, like, hey, what's your name? Like, how are you? I know a lot of people will be struggling to figure out what's their opening line or looking for pickup lines. Your pickup line is your name. Hey, I'm so-and-so. What's your name? That should be the first thing you ask anybody that you're interested in. But sometimes if you've never worked on your social skills, or maybe you were like, maybe you're in high school during COVID, it's hard to sometimes know how to talk to the opposite sex. So even though I don't really struggle with that, I see, and I think a lot of people from my generation, I'm 33, a lot of people from my generation have empathy for people who are younger than us, because growing up, we had to go talk to people in person. We had to go to the mall and hope that somebody was there at 5 p.m. I'm like, damn, Samantha said she's going to be here at 5. Samantha stood me up. And then you're like, oh, she's at the other side of the mall. Cool. Like, you have to wonder whether somebody would show up, because, we ain't have a phone. So even though we have more technology at our hands today, it is it is harder for this generation. I think this is the hardest generation uh, to navigate socially. Like it's much harder for them, much harder for them. I think people addicted to corn are boring. What do you mean boring in bed? Uh, I don't. I don't know if I agree with that. I think it's more so of um, wanting the quick dopamine. Or I mean, maybe they could be boring in bed, but I think people don't realize that corn is not real life. I think that's maybe one of the worst things about it. It's not real life. Like you can't approach somebody with corn energy. I mean, you can, but it wouldn't be a good idea. Would not be a good idea. And Allison, so hypersexualized. Yeah, and look, after you go through a phase of hypersexuality, sometimes you damn near become asexual, where like you don't care about sex at all. So I think that this new generation, I mean, like it's harder for them. Trust me, it is harder for them. I think even just initiating a conversation with someone of the opposite sex, and this is also for the women too. Like this is not just guys being awkward. For a lot of women, it's hard. They don't know what to say, like, or how to express interest. Like your first line is your name. Like my name is so and so. What's your name? That's always the first thing you say. I mean, you can come up with some catchy pickup line, whatever, but generally speaking, you just ask them for their name. Felix says, I consider corn harm reduction considering most of my exes were evil. That's funny. That's funny. Bianca, couldn't be your patient. That's funny, Bianca. That's funny. And yes, we did have more third spaces. We did. Whether it's church or a coffee shop or somewhere we would go after school, we're kind of forced to work on our social skills. Like even the most awkward person, like from my generation, people who graduated high school in 2010, that person would probably be seen as a normal person now. So I'm thinking of one kid that was pretty socially awkward in high school, but he did talk to people. Like I could tell that he was trying to talk to folks. He would probably be considered an outgoing person today, So yeah, I mean, more Levita, corn is just like once again, it's content, and I'm not saying that put my content in the same category with corn or anybody on TikTok's content with corn, but once again, it works off of like everybody who is online is trying to figure out how to pull attention to themselves. So it's like, what's the most outlandish, the most ridiculous, the most stepsister stuck in the dryer? Like, what's the most outlandish thing that we can say to get views? Abby says, just say hello or just bring something up. What's the worst thing? You just met the love of your life. Abby, I agree. Just saying like, hey, what's up? Hello. And also allowing ourselves to be socially awkward is cool. Like I love it. I love like one thing I love is if I'm talking to a new person and she does something weird. I'm not talking about picking your nose, whatever, but she does something weird that shows me that she's human, and she doesn't try and cover it up. Right? Let's say you went on a date with somebody, she comes back to the house, and then she takes off her shoes and she sits on the floor. Like that's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool because it shows that you're a human being. So just being you or giving yourself the courage to be yourself. One of the most courageous things that you can do nowadays is to be yourself. That's the bar right there. Write that down somewhere, Kodo. Write down somewhere. One of the most courageous things you can do nowadays is to be yourself. Write that down somewhere. I like that. I can't get more awkward than Me and my first date with my husband. Well, Abby, look, Abby on TikTok, you turned it into your husband. So it was awkward on the first date, but see, awkward is good. In fact, if somebody is way too smooth, then it's kind of like weird. It's like, why are you too smooth? Nobody should be this smooth. Come on now. Nobody should be this smooth. 1 hour mark. Got you, Leilani. And this is perfect timing right here because I could use some water. Big cheers, y'all. Let's get some water in. And Ghost, you're right. Back in the day, we had Tinder. Tinder was not a monetization game. Tinder, you have to really, man, I don't know. I was on Tinder for like a month and a half, maybe 8 years before all this social media stuff. That was hard. You had to like talk to people and things like that. Someone says, "You sure this is not Smirnoff Ice?" Nah, it's not. Abby on her first date said, "I said I wanted to be a mom and wife. Came across really odd. Going on 5 years. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with stating your intentions off the rip. Ain't nothing wrong with that." Finding your videos changed my life, Chantal. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Felix says, "Do you diagnose potential romantic interests in your mind when talking to them?" No, I don't. I don't diagnose potential romantic interests in my mind. But I mean, if something stands out, then I may think about something that may be going on. But my default is to not diagnose somebody that I'm on a date with. I'm really trying to figure out if I like them. That's my most important thing. Like, do I actually like this person? Like, clearly, I'm physically attracted to them because I would never go on a date with somebody that I'm not physically attracted to. I don't think you should do that. You know, that I could be wrong, but I think that you should only go on dates with somebody that you are physically attracted to. So that way, if things go well, all right, well, we're already attracted to each other. You know, we got the shucking in mind. Let's see if like we like each other for real. But yeah, that's my primary objective, to figure out if I like them. You know, date, not diagnose. And Monica says, "I'm going through a divorce and I don't even know how to talk to people anymore." Monica, when you got married versus now, the landscape is much it's much more different than it was when you got married. I'm not sure when you got married, Monica, but things are different now and people are different. So good luck. Good luck. You'll do good though. You'll do good though. I know a lot of people who say that if they ever divorced, they're never getting married again, which is interesting because Maka, you got married 13 years ago. Oh yeah, Maka, if you got married 13 years ago, okay, yeah. 13. What was that? 2013. Oh, that's when the Migos were hot. Yeah. Anybody that got married when the Migos were hot, that's trying to date now, yeah, you're gonna need a whole new course. How's it different now? Oh, because social skills are not there. We just don't know how to connect with each other. You know, men are, fighting women. Women are fighting men, not, physically, but you have all these gender wars, all these social media discussions. Yeah, it's an interesting place. I'm old. I was on Plenty of Fish. I remember POF. So yes, when you have ADHD, be mindful of the fact that sometimes another person can be your addiction. Instead of working on things that you need to be working on, instead of making that appointment to get your oil change, or instead of going to find a primary care doctor, it's easy to just get lost in a 4-month situationship that turns into a 1.5 year long relationship that never should have been a relationship to start with. And you see how you lose 16 months of your life just like that. Just like that. Brittany is 42. I've stopped dating. Is exhausting. I love to travel alone. Oh yeah, this is the most detached society of all time. I've never seen this many people give up on dating and be okay with it. I've never seen this many people be okay with not dating. What are your thoughts on BBW Cupid? I don't know what that is. BBW Cupid, what's that? You know, I mean, I am an unk too, so like certain things I may not know. I am an unk. Too easy to cheat. Yeah, it is too easy to cheat. It's really easy to cheat, and Facebook and Instagram are dating apps. Abby says, if I ever get divorced, I'm staying single forever. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. And outside of the second ADHD addiction, which I had as hypersexuality, novelty seeking, dating apps, casual relationships, dopamine chasing, substances is my number one reason as to why. My number one dangerous ADHD addiction. And Ghost, I would love when you work on that theory about why people are so detached. I would love for you to present to us why you think that that's the case. Because the average date nowadays, I read that is like $200, which is crazy. $200 to see if you like me and I like you. That's the average first date. Cost $200. I could buy a whole village in Africa for $200. Yeah. But moving on, substances. Top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. Substances, alcohol, marijuana, LSD, so on and so forth. We are liable to substance use for reasons that other people can't really relate to. A lot of us who have ADHD have so many thoughts in our head, and sometimes the substance will quiet down the thoughts. Now you have one thought. I know a lot of people, they'll get a little fried and go and knock out an 8-hour shift. I know people who will get fried and they'll be able to clean their house. They're like, oh, it was a sativa. You know, the sativa got me right. Some people like the hybrids. Some people like the drinks after work, the happy hours. It gets them loose, helps them take the edge off. Some people do some of the harder stuff. Okay. Becoming an adult was realizing that a lot of people, a lot of working professionals were, on that powder. That caught me by surprise. I didn't anticipate that. I didn't see that. But a lot of us who are neurodivergent were liable to becoming addicted to substances because sometimes they make us feel like we're normal and we get to get out of our heads for a second. Even if it's just for half an hour, just being out of your head and watching a funny movie and having a couple of edibles and just have all day. So you got to be very careful with substances. And I'm not saying you have to go fully sober or whatever, but be mindful of the fact that it's probably something that you're leaning on as a crutch. Be very mindful of that. Be very mindful of that. Where I name my village, Kodo's. I don't know, but I'd like to have me a village. Sylvia says caffeine is my drug of choice. Caffeine is a stimulant. It's the world's number one stimulant, actually. And Abby says Benadryl calms and lifts my mood. Well, Benadryl being an antihistamine can do that. And sometimes Benadryl can get people turned up too. It can have a backwards effect. Courtney says, I just want you to know you changed my life and now all my family members follow you to understand. Courtney, thank you so much. Courtney, I appreciate that. Courtney on TikTok, those comments are so kind. It means a lot to me. And I'm happy that your family understands your ADHD brain. Thank you for their attention. And we're going to keep the content coming. I got a lot of great skits and there's a lot more that's on the way. So thank you. I have not tried edibles. Okay, well, somebody's not fun. Don't listen to me, guys. Do not listen to me. Do not listen to me. Sometimes I'm a bad influence. But yeah, those of us who have ADHD think we're 3 or 4 times more likely to develop a dependency to cannabis. Now, I would be very curious to see what the studies would be looking like for people who have ADHD and autism. And when it comes to academic things, I don't have any desire to. I used to teach at a university, and that was cool. I loved it, but I'm not in the academia world. Like I'm past that. But I would love to do research. I would love to spearhead research where I get to look at people who have autism and ADHD and see how substance use is a thing in that community, specifically autism, ADHD, and substance use. Because we have some data on autism by itself and substance use, and then ADHD and substance use. But I need the autism with the ADHD combined, and I want to see how substance use is a thing in that specific community. So I would love to do research on that. Actually, I would really love to do that. I would really, 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 really love to do that. And somebody says, Canvas saved my life, to be honest. So look, I have a lot of people who have said that Canvas has saved their life. And I think that it's important to respect that. And if it's the thing that you've used instead of harder stuff, or it got you off prescription, hey, I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. I respect it. And Ghost says edibles low and slow. No, Eddie's yeah, it bring back some memories for me. Bring back some memories. Alcohol gives me insomnia, so I'm not responding to THC. Once again, THC is one thing, and edibles are a whole different thing. That's a wild card. And look, I have been at the ER, and we've had so many people come in for cannabis-induced psychosis. We've had a lot of people come in because they ate a whole bunch of edibles, or they ate somebody's weed brownies and a friend's weed brownies, and then they come to the ER and they're having panic attacks, and they feel like they're gonna die. So edibles are a big wild card. Abby, it is terrifying. It is terrifying, and that's not everybody's edible experience. I promise you, that's not everybody's edible experience, but it can be pretty terrifying. So as it is with everything, use with caution, be very careful, keep it away from kids, so on and so forth. But it's scary when you go to the ER and you feel like you're gonna die. You really feel that way, like it's and then at the ER we just kind of give people like reorient them, give them water, hydrate them. If they have to throw up, let them throw up. Let them know that it's gonna pass over, and like you'll pass through, you'll be okay. But if you're new to it, and you're having THC induced panic attack, it really feels real. Like it feels like you feel like you're gonna die. So definitely be careful, and if you can regulate yourself without substances, I think that's a superpower nowadays. Like if you're able to raw dog your way into regulating yourself, more power to you. More power to you. More power to you. And I agree with this right here. If you are under the age of 26 years old, and this is not medical advice, all right? I'm not medical advice. I'm just talking to you as a friend. But especially if you're under the age of 26, or your brain hasn't fully formed, you have to be very careful with cannabis. In fact, I say avoid it if you can. I know some people start smoking at 12 and 13 and 14, and sometimes 11 and 10. If that's what you did, then that's what you did. But if you must partake, please wait until your brain is fully formed. Because the studies show that when your brain is fully formed and you use it occasionally, you don't pay as heavy of a cognitive price as somebody who started smoking at 11 would. The person who started smoking at 11, they run a high risk of psychosis, potentially lowered IQ over time, depression, anxiety, personality disorders. So the earlier you start, the worse off. But theoretically speaking, once your brain is fully formed if you use it sparingly, the studies are, quite favorable. It shows that you could use occasionally and not pay such a big cognitive price, which is really good news for people who, cannabis must be a part of their lives. So that's a good news. Just that I think it helps to wait until your brain is fully formed. And it's important to educate the youth about this, because you see a lot of kids, getting high and skipping school. And, like we've all been truant kids at one point, but your brain is still forming. It's such a vulnerable time. Your brain is still forming. You gotta be very careful. You gotta be very, 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 very careful. Someone says, person who took an edible thought was dying, laying in the bathtub and everything. Yeah, I've had patients who have come to ER. They thought they weren't going to die. I've had friends who we've had to call the ambulance for because they took an edible or they ate somebody's pop brownies and they got really scared and got spooked out. So I don't say this to scare y'all, okay? And I'm somebody, I've definitely, had my fair share. Obviously moving to California and so on and so forth, but the proper education is important to put it out there so people know what they're dealing with. They know what they're up against, but for people who say that cannabis has been helpful to them in their lives, I see why they say that, and I definitely don't disagree. Definitely don't disagree. Let me see. I have autism, ADHD, and was recently diagnosed with bipolar 2. Never drank in my life until now. That's another thing with alcohol. You got to be very careful with alcohol. I need a super safe space from there. Same here. I'm gonna need a super safe space. When you're a professor, do you ever say, "I need to see you after class"? Well, I did have an ex who was an old student of mine, so I didn't see her after class like right then, but a couple of months down the line, I was like, I might have to see you after class. There was no class at that point, but I'm like, I might have to see you. I might have to see you at my place. Come over to my place. Type she. I think like someone says, detention for Bay. Oh my goodness. Who said that? Paradigm ICS. Detention for Bay. Facts. I said, Bay, you have been a bad girl. Bad girl. You have detention. Come to my place. Come over to my place. Bad girl. Bad girl. Detention for Bay. I like that. Detention for Bay. Detention more like discipline. Discipline for Bay. Detention for Bay. All the above. And see, that's the thing about being a college professor, because like you can have somebody who can be in your class. They could have been in your class last year. Then, after a year after that, they're graduated and they're a consenting adult, and then you're a consenting adult. So that's the interesting thing about college professorship, because obviously in high school, that doesn't work in high school. Obviously, it's predatory in high school, but college, it might could work. Just every day wear a schoolgirl uniform. Role play. That's funny. She gotta enroll. You gotta be ready. You gotta enroll. Go ahead. Get your Pell Grant. Get your classes. Go get your books. Go ahead and enroll in the university for real. Show up to class. Pay attention. Take your notes. You gotta go all the way in. Oh my goodness, that's funny. Detention for Bay. Detention for Bay. Yeah. I don't know if I'll be a professor again. Probably not if I admit these stories. And um, I watched me apply to be a professor somewhere. They're like, well, on a live stream on June 2nd, you say that you date your students. I'm like, yeah, once they graduate, already graduate, got to re-enroll. Got to re-enroll now. Got to re-enroll. Someone says, if I was doctor, I'd wear my uniform everywhere, especially at the supermarkets and laundromats. That does work. I mean, if you like, if you're looking to, yeah, that's a hack. If you're looking to gain the attention of the opposite sex or whoever you're interested in, wearing your scrubs out of work is a way to do it, because it shows delay that you're employed. Now you can wear scrubs and be unemployed, right? That'd be funny. But generally speaking, if you're wearing scrubs and she knows that you have a job, that you're doing something. So yeah, not a bad idea. Felix says, I dated someone I met while working a warm line. Horrible experience. Had to replace my favorite bed. Once again, these third spaces are a good place to meet people, and so is work. But you have to calculate the cost of a failed relationship. Because if you're dating somebody in your gym and it doesn't go well, it's like, okay, who has to get a new gym? Like, who needs to, get a brand new membership and go somewhere else? Drive to the gym on the other side of town. Like, those things, not that you go to a situation thinking about what wouldn't go right, but you kind of have to keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. White coats trigger some. Yeah, they do. They do. But I don't know why you'd wear a white coat outside of the hospital, because I feel like white coats just carry bacteria. But I guess. Yes. My coworkers are gay or married. You may have to change up the location. And they're spicy up that road. Want to spank the Ghost. Hey, Ghost is all one today. Ghost is all one today. That's funny. You're also an outlaw. That's hilarious. That's funny. That's hilarious, actually. Spank the schoolgirl. When I was in school, I think we spoke about this on the previous live. We had the whole corporal punishment, like, teachers could spank, the kids if they got permission from the parents. So I don't think that's the thing nowadays. I haven't seen anybody talking about that for at least 15 years, but I'm sure back in Ghana and Africa, sometimes they do that. Or actually, what? I don't think that's a thing anymore. The whole world's pretty much caught up to the Western way, the American way. Nobody's really spanking kids at school. But obviously, if it's your scenario, you can make it be what it is. Put the tension of wanting to. That's funny. That's funny. That's hilarious. See what else they're saying on TikTok. The loony bin, not for the weak. Well, this is one way to look at it. Someone says, why does the love change my personality and generally ruin my relationship? I don't know if antidepressants change people's personalities, but you can definitely feel things differently. But I that's a common thing I've gotten from people, that the medication changed my personality, or they lost their sparkle or their glow or things like that. So that's not out of the ordinary. But definitely go back to your provider and let them know, because you can always change a dose or try a different medication. Definitely don't suffer. Don't sit there and suffer. Like, I wouldn't do that. Could be a southern thing to relate to the party speaking. Definitely could be. Definitely could be. And I feel like this is the first generation that's, yeah. this is the first generation that's consciously making a decision to not spank their kids, which, I think it's cool that we're finding ways to regulate, our emotions without taking it out on the kids. That's a good thing. Um, but obviously, with gentle parenting, sometimes they can get too gentle. But not spanking kids is probably uh, the theme of this generation. And I don't have any kids that I know of, so even if my kids were to be spanked, it'd be the mother doing it. Like, my hand is too heavy to lay it on a child, so I hate to spank a kid because I'm too big. I don't want to. I hate to do that to my child. So it'll just be the mama being like this. Don't do that. Alcohol is such an accepted addiction. Iris, yes. And look, there's a difference between alcohol and cannabis. Where you're talking about top seven or top ADHD addictions, because cannabis is illegal in certain states. Alcohol is legal everywhere. They promote it at sporting events. You have happy hour. They give you cheap drinks. Alcohol is so socially acceptable that people forget that it's a real substance and that you can develop a real addiction to it. So that's unfortunate. I think we should talk about that more. We should definitely talk about that more because if you're at the point where you're a legitimate alcoholic, you can't just quit on your own. Like, you have to go to rehab and quit. They give you benzos to wean you off of alcohol. Quitting alcohol on your own as an alcoholic is life threatening. And this is something that's promoted all over the globe. So yeah, it's scary how normalized it's become. If you have to really think about it, you're like, damn, this is like, we talk about alcohol like it's nothing. And I'm not demonizing people who drink. I'm just saying, like, be mindful. Be mindful. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I reduce time on my nephew's phone when they misbehave. Someone says, I'm sober now. In Australia, it's a cultural norm to drink alcohol. It's a problem here. Ella on TikTok is just like the States. It's just like the States. Felix says, I couldn't date my coworkers as a peer specialist. My crazy is manageable, not others so much. I mean, look, dating your coworkers in general is, I don't know. I mean, like, obviously not the worst thing in the world, but it's hard to find jobs as it is right now. So it's like, if you date somebody at your workplace, you have to like them enough to potentially be willing to lose your job or be willing to switch to a different department. So that's, hey, if you like them, you like them. If you like them, you like them. Wow, Mystic Soul says, met at work, married 29 years. And look, the workplace is one of the most common places where people meet. So I don't think there's anything wrong with meeting somebody at work. I actually don't. There's nothing wrong with it. You spend a lot of time at work, you get to know somebody, you see them in different elements. Nothing wrong with meeting somebody at work. That's how my grandparents met. They're both social workers. And then, they met at the job, obviously. And when they went on trips together, for work, then, they eventually started to shuck each other, and one thing led to another. So nothing wrong with meeting somebody at work, but just, gotta be very intentional with it. Dating somebody you meet at work is one thing, and just fooling around with somebody that you met at work is probably a little less advisable. Wow, we had 4 marriages out of that group, worked in radio, crazy times. Well, okay, so y'all figured it out. 4 marriages out of that group. Wow. But also, back then, you didn't have social media. You didn't have the illusion of options between Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all of that. Euphoria, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. Didn't have BBW. What is BBW Cupid? I have no idea what that is. Let's Google that. I'm a little curious. On the world, BBW Cupid. BBW Cupid is a leading BBW dating site for plus size singles interested in serious dating. Okay, respect. Okay. Never heard of this thing before. BBW Cupid. Okay, all right then. All right now. They outside the cubicle, not in it, knew the relationship outside the environment. Yeah. Sometimes you have to tell HR if you're involved with somebody, which is weird. Like, think of that conversation with HR. It's like, hey, like me and Samantha, y'all did what? Samantha and I are like, what are you talking about? Well, like sometimes she comes over and like, are y'all dating? Yeah, I guess you can say that. I guess you can say that. Guado says, who are the people in your skits and their ads? All the people who are in my skits are tagged, especially on TikTok. So you should see them on there. I do my best to tag people, So like if you're probably looking for Emily's social media. So if you're on Instagram, you'll see her page on there. I do my best to tag her on there. So if you're looking for her, go follow her, help her become famous. She wants more followers. So I told her that it feels good to be Dr. Kojo. So go follow her. Mystic says, we only told work when we got married. Ah, okay. How you think we met on a roller coaster for a radio event? Is that Mr. Cosmo? Cosmo! That's my dog, Cosmo! Cosmo, I'm following you now. I know who you were. Cosmo. That's my dog, Cosmo. He's a doctor in Maryland. That's my dog, Cosmo. It's good to see you. It is good to see you. So, Guado, all the people who are tagged in the skits, all people in the skits, they should be tagged. So, and if you look on TikTok right now, you see that we've added some new actors. Well, not new actors, but we're bringing them back. So, Roberto and Chandra, then UV and Mila, and then another girl. I forget her name. It was our first time working with her. I can't think of her name, for whatever reason. My goodness, that makes me feel bad. But we will tag everybody's profiles. But on a serious note, if you do follow, it does help out everybody's profiles and their professional careers, because the follower count is, at least in Los Angeles, people look at that. Yes, the girl with the curly hair. You knew who I was talking about. I can't think of her name. My goodness, I cannot think of her name. My goodness. It sucks. All people love. Yeah, guys, you have to understand that back in the day, there was no Instagram or Facebook or TikTok. So you didn't have the illusions of options, don't they superior for it? Oh yeah. This should be common sense. How you balance work with health? Your health is a bigger priority than work. Let me see this right here. Working 10 hours isolated in a room, but earning strong six figures, but sacrificing all forms of enjoyment to have a goal. Oh, you can't do this right here. Well, I take it back. I'm sorry. You cannot do this for long periods of time. It won't work. You cannot do this for long periods of time. Do this and, go on the money run. Stack up the money as much as you can, but you cannot sacrifice all forms of enjoyment to enjoy later, because that's a trap. It's like, I'm going to save money, I'll enjoy later. No, you'll become depressed, if we're being honest. 10 hours isolated in a room. But look, if you're working this job right now, you're the kind of person that when you get off of work, it would be helpful to go straight to the gym. Because if you go home, you're not leaving the house. Go straight to the gym. Shoot, go to happy hour. Actually, most people on here, I'm like, don't go to happy hour. Like, lay off the alcohol. For you, it would be good to go to happy hour. You don't have to drink, but go somewhere, find a third space, talk to people. You need to have a social life outside of work. It's like when you work from home or you're isolated, you have to do that because you will find that you'll be depressed if not already depressed. So be very careful with this. Be very careful with this. Which email? My assistant at kojosoftware.com. That's the best way to email me because I'm like a week and a half late on all my emails. 1 second. Hey mom, how are you? Okay, are you talking about the flight stuff? Okay. Uh, wait, he's trying to go to Dallas too. Okay. All right. So you want to leave on Thursday and come back when? So, okay. I'll have John look into it right now. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I'll have John look into it. Okay. I will. I'll get back to you. All right. God bless. All right. Love you too. Um, I'm raising a mom and a dad right now. So, mm, all right. So John, to my knowledge, when you book a flight with Delta and nobody takes a flight, they would automatically give you the flight credit. So see if you can look and use that confirmation number. And Delta has something where you can see how much flight credit you have. So let's just see if we can use that confirmation number to rebook another flight with that information. Um, and if not, then we just lost some money. We'll have to rebook it. But at least see if you can look into that and then let me know. And also, the flight would be Thursday to Dallas, and then she wants to come back on Saturday. All right. Oh yeah. I gotta handle my mom stuff. Uh, but all right. I was in the middle of this train of thought right here for wake up, work, eat, sleep, very basic life. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Switch it up a little bit. You deserve to go do something social. You can't isolate yourself. You cannot isolate yourself. And I've had moments where I've kind of like locked in, and like I'll leave LA for a little bit, and I'll just like really lock in and focus and write. And it's made my comedy better. Like the writing part. But sometimes I get too isolated from friends and family, and then I have to find my way to like get back and actually do things. Sporting events is I love sporting events. So sporting events, I was trying to invite friends to go out and do that, so on and so forth. But isolating for too long will lead into depression. And thank you for this comment. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I waste a lot of money. We could be better with money. I waste a lot of money. Made a lot of money. Um, you would think so. You would think so, but not all the time. Not all the time. And someone said, remind them of the addictions again. Okay, For the people who just came in, I'll go from 7. The top 7 dangerous ADHD addictions. Number 7, work addiction. Number 6, drama and conflict, arguing when you're understimulated/bored. Number 5, doom scrolling, which I feel like I should put that higher. Number 4, shopping and impulse spending. Number 3, gambling. Number 2, hypersexuality and novelty seeking. And number 1, substance use. And also keep in mind that if you have ADHD, one thing I realized is that if you have, like, addictions don't go away when you have ADHD. Let's just say, for the argument of this, let's say my 2 addictions are substance use and hypersexuality. If I kick women to the curb and I just stop dating altogether and I say, all right, I've dealt with hypersexuality, I'm good now, then gambling will slide into that spot. If I tend to kick the substances to the curb, guess what? Doom scrolling can slide into that spot. If I'm somebody who likes to work and I like to shop a lot and I kick the shopping to the curb, guess what? Video games can slide in. You have to be mindful of the fact that you have these tendencies to hyperfixate on something and to do it, over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And yeah, they're replaced with other habits. So make way for a healthy habit to replace an unhealthy one. Because if you don't plan actively to have the healthy habit overtake the unhealthy one, you'll just find another void. Just another void. It may not be doom scrolling, but now we're playing video games 8 hours a day. It may not be hypersexuality, but now it's corn, right? So yeah. You want to, the answer was right here. You want to replace it with healthy habits. So if you are in a run club or something like that, or if you have a friend who has a run club, that'd be a great replacement, because now you're spending time out amongst people. You're running, like you're getting into shape. You're getting your legs underneath you. It's a healthy thing. So I would say find a healthy replacement. And unfortunately, look, whether y'all listen to me or not, sometimes people will hear it from me or you'll experience it. But if you have unhealthy habits and you don't intentionally replace it with a healthy one, you'll just replace it with another unhealthy one. So yeah, now you're not door dashing and wasting your money, but like I said, you're doom scrolling all night. So it's like, you may as well just stuck with the DoorDash or whatever. Felix, I appreciate you. Start running. Tara, I like that. I usually swap in for running. Love that shot of dopamine. And after you run for a while, you get the runner's high. So running is actually a really good replacement. I like running. Exercise. You can never go wrong with exercise. We're life addicts. That's funny. We're life addicts. My addictions are reading and learning. Boring. Boo. I'm kidding. No, these are 2 healthy addictions right here. Especially the reading part. If you want to be a better speaker, a better writer, if you want to be better with communication, reading and writing are 2 things that will help you. If you read and write for 15 minutes a day, read for 15, write for 15, you become a much better communicator. And when you're a better communicator, you can get more of what you want out of life. So reading is a very underrated addiction. And I can't think of too many instances in which reading would be a negative thing, So reading, learning as well, but especially reading. Reading is really good. I'm working, home health care. Okay. Cabot Patch Kiddo, thank you for sharing. Is anyone else addicted to taking notes and screenshots? I have to exercise more. Exercising, guys. Exercising. I have a night. I go in for a nighttime workout, which I'm excited about. I'm excited to get this workout in, but I might have to switch to mornings so I can wake up early. Duh, duh, duh. Negative is you can prefer reading over socializing. Yeah, but I don't see why you couldn't do both. Someone says, "How do you feel about Lexapro?" They won't let me answer those questions specifically anymore. All I can say is that if you've been prescribed the medication, talk to your psych and take it up with your psych. But I prescribe Lexapro all the time. But obviously, like I know those guys and girls. But for you specifically, I can't give any advice. TikTok and my legal team doesn't like that. Yeah. And Quentin says, "How are folks getting excited to exercise?" Okay, and I'll talk about this point, and then I'll remind everybody about the comedy shows, and then we'll get off. But exercising. So look, when you go to the gym consecutive days, okay, and you do the hard thing, you walk away with a sense of pride. It makes you feel good because you didn't want to go to the gym, but some way, somehow you showed up, you got to the gym, you feel good. And from a mental health perspective, you feel so much better when you go to the gym. Whenever I'm trying to figure things out in life, I have big decisions coming up. I go to the gym, I take a walk. Someone says go to trails. I don't go to trails unless I see white people around. I need at least 3 white people around me before I can go hiking because I'm scared. I need me some backup. So I just go. I do the treadmill. I do Stairmaster. I do my regular. I do my regular. I do my regular exercise, but yeah, the gym is great for your mental health. You make better decisions. You feel better, and also when you start to see changes in your body from going to the gym, that's when it becomes very addictive. It becomes extremely addictive because now you see like the changes in your body. You see yourself getting finer, and now you're spending hours, maybe not hours, but you're spending some time looking at yourself in the mirror, like looking at your triceps. Like okay, you can see a definition. Like, oh, this is cool. Okay, I see my triceps. And you see your stomach getting slimmer. You see your thighs. Like you see the number going down on the scale. You see yourself getting finer. Oh, I look good naked. Like we should all want to look good naked. So yeah, the gym is an addictive thing. It's one of the few things that's good for your mental and good for your physical, and it's free. Free. Lobita, I appreciate you, and look, have fun in Spain. Have fun. Remarkable. Traveling is another way to enjoy the world. So have fun in Spain. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. Dope. And we will have a good show in New York. The best exercise is the one you enjoy doing more than once. I agree. I do agree. You versus you, that's the mindset. Yeah, you versus you, that's the mindset. Hold on. So G's wedding. Who is this? JP. It's been forever since G's wedding. JP, yo. G got married like 8 years ago. Yo, that's crazy. JP, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm grateful. I'm blessed, and I'm good. Time is not real. G just got. I feel like G got married 2 months ago, and we're giving him a hard time, telling him that this is supposed to be his last marriage. Man, time be flying. Time be flying. My goodness, wow. God is good. Wow. Guys, we're already in June. I know we're ending the live stream, but just think about that for a second. We're already in June, the 6th month of the year. We were just talking about New Year's resolutions. Like it seemed like it was January was like 2 weeks ago. We're already in June. We're halfway throughout the year. Before you know it, 2027 will be here. Time is flying by. Make you ficky. Anyways, once again, a big thank you to Nashville, Tennessee. My hometown. The show was amazing. I can't wait to go through the clips. believe it or not, as much as I think I'm so handsome and amazing, I don't like watching myself. I don't like watching myself, my shows back. I don't like watching my own clips. Would you believe that? And sometimes even the skits that y'all like, I don't like watching myself back sometimes. So it's hard to watch myself on the playback. But for Nashville, I'm excited to watch myself because that was such a fun show. Like I think I even went over on time because I was having so much fun, especially on the first show. So yeah, Nashville was, man. Southern Explorer, thank you for coming out to the show in Tennessee. It was great. Nashville was so amazing. It was so amazing. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for coming out. And we've taken 24, 48 hours to really enjoy it. Today's Tuesday, so it's 48 hours past the show. So now it's time to turn our attention to New York City. June 11th, Rodney's Comedy Club. We're solely focused on New York City now, and after that, we will turn our attention to Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, the first show or the show in Chicago is almost sold out. So we've added a second show in Chicago, Illinois. So Chicago tickets are selling faster than the ones in New York City, and that's all right with me. I'm coming to both places still. So we have one show in New York, two in Chicago. Chicago June 18th, New York City June 11th, and we are excited. We're excited for New York City. The whole crew can't wait to come out there. Teacher Life says, come to Louisiana. Speaking of Louisiana, we did add a date. We added Louisiana, or actually, I learned from Seattle because the Seattle show, I announced it before it was confirmed. And now I feel bad because people are excited for that show and we never confirmed it. Louisiana, we're working on a show in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So once I get the confirmation, I will post it and I'll make a big deal out of it. But we're working on a show in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So Teacher Life, we're working on coming your way. We are working on coming to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We'll confirm it and then I'll let y'all know for sure. So that way I don't have to eat my words. All right. So we'll confirm it the right way. Yeah, watching yourself can be interesting, but it's how you learn. It's how you learn. You watch back, and then sometimes I'll watch myself like a comedy clip, and I'm like, "Oh, that was funny." I'm like, "How did I do that? How did I say that?" Or sometimes I'm like, "I don't like that." So it's good to watch yourself, and we'll definitely the fifth dimension. we'll definitely get some of the clips from the Tennessee show posted. Definitely before New York, to promote for the New York show and to promote for Chicago. So we're up, we're moving, and I'm getting sleep. So that's all I can ask for. So yeah, so that is, look at me. That's it for today's live stream. We're back again Thursday at 9 o'clock East Coast time, right? Which is 8 o'clock Nashville time, which is 7 o'clock Arizona time, which is six. I got lost there. I was like, which is 6 o'clock California time, which is 5 o'clock Alaska time, which is 4 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 2 a.m. United Kingdom time. So those are the live streams, the live stream times that we have, and that'll be on Thursday. So in 2 days from now, 6 o'clock West Coast time, 9 o'clock East Coast time, we will be back. We will be back, and I gotta handle some business. So I will see you all again. I will reiterate that these live streams are available. The playback, you can watch them back on Cake, you can watch them back on YouTube, and you can watch them back on Facebook. So on TikTok, unfortunately, you can't watch the playback, but you can definitely do so on the other long form platforms. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I will see you all in 2 days on the next stream. Be on the lookout for some new skits. We have some new skits coming. The autism, ADHD, and ADHD. We have some new skits coming, and we have some new stitches. So new content on the way starting tomorrow. Be on the lookout for it. Take care. Love y'all. Good night.